Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely shatter the cozy illusion of the modern holiday season. If you're an adult tuning in, you probably grew up with a version of December that was soft, warm, and safe. Just lights on houses and the reassuring idea of a kind figure watching from above. But we are diving straight into the brutal survival folklore of the ancient Alpine winter. Because, as you'll see, the exact same traditions that gave birth to our modern Christmas also birthed something much, much older and way darker.
So what is December really about? Well, nowadays, we usually think of it as a season of soft lights, unconditional warmth, right? We've built this entire modern culture around the idea that this month is all about buying the right gifts, maintaining a cheerful attitude, the whole shebang. But our ancestors, they viewed the longest nights of the year very differently. The elders who actually built these original winter traditions understood something that our comfortable modern lives have kind of just erased. They knew the longest nights of the year are long for a reason.
Okay, let's really look at this stark contrast. Modern life has basically insulated us from the fear of the dark. But I want you to imagine stepping outside into a tiny Austrian village back in the 1800s. The snow is old, it's gray at the edges, the trees are just these vertical shapes in the pitch black. And the village is dead quiet because everyone is inside on purpose. For them, the winter solstice season wasn't some cheerful holiday, no way. It was a terrifying, highly conditional test of survival against the elements.
And when the world gets that quiet, what exactly lives in the dark? See, village children weren't told stories of flying reindeer. Absolutely not. They were warned about exactly what was walking the roads between their villages in those freezing, isolated hours between dusk and midnight. And whatever lived in that dark between December and January, it didn't care whether you believed in it or not.
And this brilliantly illustrates a core difference for us, looking back at these myths as adults. These ancient traditions absolutely were not about a jolly visitor popping down a chimney to drop off coal from minor misbehavior. They were about entities claiming the night itself. We're talking about something that doesn't just leave a bad gift, but something that doesn't leave at all.
Section 1. Krampus, the Enforcer.
Now forget the watered-down pop culture versions you might have seen lately. The original Krampus is literally an enforcer of survival. The true sensory terror here is that he walks upright, but he is not a man. He's got horns curving back like a mountain goat and legs that bend the completely wrong way at the knee. But honestly, the most terrifying part isn't even visual, it's auditory. The only warning you get that he's coming is the chilling sound of his rusted chains dragging across the frozen ground. If you were good, he passed your door. If you weren't, the chains stopped, and something knocked.
And look at how incredibly deep this history goes. Krampus dates all the way back to the pre-Christian era, existing as winter spirits and horned gods in ancient Alpine mythology. When Christianity expanded, it actually couldn't erase him. So what happened? He was absorbed. He became St. Nicholas's dark counterpart, punishing the wicked, which created this complete moral system with real teeth. And the crazy thing is, this isn't just ancient history. Even in the modern day, on December 5th, men in Austrian towns still run through the streets in century-old hand-carved wooden masks and real animal fur in these terrifying events called Krampusnachten.
So an absolutely crucial point here is how we view the symbols of the season. Today, we see bells as cheerful holiday decorations, right? Ringing out joy. But the ancient bells worn by Krampus in these runs, they were not meant for the people hiding inside their homes. They were literal territorial warning systems to whatever else was out there in the dark, signaling that Krampus had already claimed this village for the night.
Section 2. Perchta, the Night Judge.
If you thought Krampus was an intense upgrade from modern Santa Claus, well, Perchta makes you wish the thing at your door just had chains. During the 12 days of Christmas, she silently enters homes while people sleep. But unlike modern traditions where a jolly figure checks a list to see if you've been naughty or nice, Perchta is a strict judge of diligence. Have you finished your spinning, your weaving, your winter work? She literally has two faces. If you were diligent, you saw her beautiful face, and she'd leave a cold silver coin hidden in a shoe. But if you were lazy, you saw her ancient, skeletal face, and the nighttime punishment you endured was absolutely brutal. Now this is where the folklore takes a profoundly dark turn. This morbidly precise, step-by-step nighttime surgery is Perchta's horrific consequence for a lack of diligence. Step 1, open the stomach. Step 2, remove the insides. Step 3, replace it all with straw and stones. Step 4, sew it back up. Again, compare this to modern traditions. Modern Santa leaves a lump of coal. Ancient Perchta completely hollows you out.
But the true horror here is actually psychological. According to the lore, you wouldn't die from this. You'd wake up the next morning, still breathing. But you would wake up feeling inexplicably heavier than you should. You would just feel wrong in a way you couldn't name, carrying that literal and metaphorical weight for the rest of the dark, punishing winter.
Section 3. The Threat from Above.
Moving over to the German and Scandinavian traditions, the winter threat doesn't even bother knocking on your door at all. It descends from the sky directly overhead. This brings us to the Wild Hunt. This isn't just one creature. It's an inescapable procession of the dead riding on horseback through the winter sky between late October and early January. Depending on the story, it's led by a dark lord, or sometimes Odin, who has absolutely nowhere to be except moving constantly through the freezing expanse of the night.
You couldn't see this army with your own eyes, but you could definitely hear it approaching. It was described as a wind with rhythm, a wind that rose and fell like breathing, coming from a direction that totally contradicted the swaying of the trees. Just imagine sitting in your freezing 19th century cabin and hearing that unnatural pulsing sound sweeping right over your roof. If you heard that rhythmic wind, there was absolutely no time to be brave. You followed strict operating instructions. You go inside immediately, you do not look up, you do not speak, you bolt your door, and, most chillingly, you put out the fire. Yes, the only thing keeping you warm, you extinguish it so that smoke cannot be followed down your chimney by whatever is up there. And those who didn't follow these rules, they were found the next morning in strange places, or they were simply never found at all.
Section 4. Why the Dark Matters.
So what does this all mean? Why are we looking at this? Well, because these aren't just spooky campfire tales. They reveal profound truths about human survival in the ancient world. Look at how our priorities have shifted. The modern winter question is kind of trivial. Have you been cheerful? Did you buy the right gifts? But the ancient winter question was life or death. Have you been honest and done your work? Have you earned the warmth you're sitting in? The entities in the quiet December night, they did not care about your holiday spirit. They cared exclusively if you had actively earned your survival against the climate that was quite literally trying to kill you.
And this right here is what you should truly take away from this explainer. Comfort is conditional. Ancient Europe used these terrifying myths as cultural operating instructions. They were this visceral, unforgettable way to remind every single member of the village that warmth is not some guaranteed human right. It is something you must actively earn through diligence and preparation.
We all like to think we've outgrown these fears, right? That the dark is just an absence of light, easily banished with the flip of a switch. But let me leave you with one final, unsettling detail. The detail that does not leave cleanly. From the Bavarian and Austrian towns that actually still practice these ancient Krampus runs today.
Every single year, the organized Krampusnacht runs officially end. The men take off their heavy, inherited masks, they go home, and the streets completely empty out. But long after everyone has gone inside, locals report the steady, restless sound of bells continuing far off in the empty darkness, getting neither closer nor further away, just continuing. Steady like something that simply does not need to rest. And the older residents, they outright refuse to investigate.
If you ask those older residents about the sound, they'll tell you those bells are doing exactly what bells have always done in December, warning you that something has claimed the road. And they'll also give you one last piece of advice. They'll warn you that asking out loud whether those bells stopped at your door or kept moving is a terrible idea. Because asking out loud, well, that's exactly how you find out.